Good evening. It's time for Real Talk Elgin with your host, Heather Keller of the Keller Group of KW Inspire. Heather is a leader in real estate sales and a foreclosure specialist with over 13 years experience. Real Talk Elgin is your place to get the latest information about the newest trends in real estate. Learn about the industry and ask any questions you may have for Heather. Join Heather live in Studio 14 in downtown Elgin by calling 847-931-1410. That number again is 847-931-1410. And now, Real Talk Elgin with Heather Keller.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I am your host of Real Talk, Heather Keller, licensed real estate broker with Keller Williams Inspire. 13 years of expertise in all things real estate, specializing in short sales and foreclosure. I'm happy to be back again. It is season 2, episode 6 here on April 6th. Yay! And most importantly, providing real-time accurate information of all things real estate. So I'm excited because it has been almost a year since I started the show. And I say this on every show, but I say it because I'm hoping that someone out there is going to follow their dreams and go out of their comfort zone to do things that they want to do to succeed in life. So people always say, why a radio show? And I have so many years of experience and knowledge in real estate. And it's sometimes a hard industry to trust people. So I wanted to start this show. It definitely took me out of my comfort zone because it's something I had never done it before. But my husband is in radio, saying hi to the kids. They're all watching tonight. So he kind of pushed me and said, you should do it. And I'm happy. I love doing radio now. So here I am. I jumped out of my comfort zone because I knew that it was going to benefit in the future. And so if you are looking to do something, definitely go out of your comfort zone. If you have not liked our Facebook page, Real Talk Elgin, please go there and like that. If you want to listen to any of our previous shows, tons of information, estate planning, short sales, foreclosures, tenants, you name it. We pretty much have had everything on the show. You can go to our website, realtalkelgin.com, listen to all of them there. And you can also ask your Alexa or Google to play Real Talk Elgin. So kids, if you're listening, I forgot to tell you, go to our Google and ask them, say, hey, Google, play Real Talk Elgin, and it should come up. We are also on iHeartRadio, which is super awesome. So later on in the show, we'll talk more about getting a free copy of my book, The Complete Guide to Selling Your Home as a Short Sale. We'll talk about my featured property. It's a coming soon in Schaumburg area, not too far from here. And we'll also talk about upcoming shows for 2020. Yay! If you have any questions, maybe on a previous show we had or anything that comes up tonight, please call in 847-931-1410. Again, that's 847-934-931-1410. 1410.
You're on Florida time yet.
Oh my, we just got home last night, and today is my kid's first full day back to school, so I am just all over the place. So, all right, I have a very, very special guest tonight. I'm super excited about this show. Caryn Prall is here. She is the operating partner of 7 locations here in Chicagoland, so we're going to talk about that. And then she was just recently regional director of Northern California and Hawaii. She just got back from Hawaii, so I was really excited to talk to her about that. So without further ado, I'm going to let Caryn introduce herself, and then we're going to talk more, especially about the new location coming in Elgin. What?
Yay! Yay!
Okay. Thanks for coming, Caryn. I'm so excited. So why don't you tell the viewers a little bit more about yourself, and then we'll get started.
I am born and raised in Wheaton, Illinois, moved away from the Chicago area after high school. I'm a diehard Buckeye. No one judge.
Ohio State.
But your husband's in sports memorabilia, so he knows how good they are.
So I don't think you know this, but I'm a Notre Dame fan. Eek.
That's okay.
That's okay. You still like me. Okay.
And so I got into real estate after working in the restaurant industry in Columbus, Ohio, and have been licensed for 20 years. I started actually at RE/MAX in high school in Wheaton. The office is still there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm friends with the new ownership group there, so I remind him all the time. That's where I got my start. And I moved back to Chicagoland from Denver, Colorado, where I was with KW. I've been with KW 18 years. I left for 2 years on a quick hiatus to another company, but the grass is not always greener, I've learned. And came back to Keller Williams in 2010, got into leadership, and moved back here in 2015 because I asked the CEO at the time, where is the biggest opportunity inside Keller Williams? And he said, it's in Chicago. And I thought, that's where I'm from. Like, are you kidding me? And so I met up with my now partner, Pete Economos, who owned the Keller Williams in Naperville, and started with him in 2015. And together now we have launched all over the western suburbs. So we have Naperville, Plainfield, Downers Grove, Glen Ellen, Aurora, Geneva, and now we're opening
And Elgin.
for Heather Keller.
That is the reason why I came here, and we'll talk more about that. But
Heather Keller got mail at the new secret location before we'd signed a lease. She was very excited.
I did, and they called and they were like, what is this? Who are you? And I was like, oh, don't.
It ruined all my negotiation power. It's okay.
Well, good. I'm glad that you're here, Caryn. I've been really excited about this show because I kept thinking, okay, it's coming, the new location's coming. But before we talk about the new location, because I'll make people wait a little bit longer, let's talk about Keller Williams in general. And maybe there's agents out there who is looking for a change.
Yeah.
You know, like why would they come here? We can talk about all this. And then maybe a new agent. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me recently and said, oh, it has been my dream to get my real estate license. And so they're working on that right now. Right. And they're here in this area. So the new location would be great for them. So we can also talk about what that entails.
Well, it was a natural fit to expand to this area because one, it's growing. Two, there's a lot of population inflow happening. And three, COVID. So COVID had people readjust their priorities, go west, right? People wanted land. They were leaving the city. Our market is up. Your business is actually up 32% year over year. Congratulations.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Great job.
Thank you.
And who Keller Williams is actually a lot of people wonder, Keller who? That's why you're perfect. Because we have a Vince Keller too out of the Glen Ellen office.
Thank you to my husband.
Yes, thank you, Chris Keller. And there is a Chris Keller with Keller Williams actually in the Chicago location.
And Chris is challenging you because he actually says fight on Trojans.
Oh, that's my husband's
he's
school.
He's
this
listening.
is war.
Yeah, he's
war.
USC.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
So Keller Williams is actually the largest real estate company in the world by agent count. It's number one in units and volume in the country.
Wow. We
also sell the most luxury properties than any other company. And so why people don't know KW is actually very purposeful. So the primary reason is we want agents to brand themselves. And so we understand that agents are the ones who build the business. It's never the company. It's the agent who is in the community, right? They're the local economist of choice, which is why you do this. They know what's happening. They know the vendors. They know the people. They have the relationships. They know the neighborhoods. And so Gary Keller always says he started as a realtor and he'll die a realtor. He's not just a big corporate owner, although he does now have the largest real estate company in the world. And so it's about branding the agent. So our philosophy is a lot different than old-fashioned brokerages, is that we want to take care of our agents. That's my customer. And the agents take care of their clients.
And that's, for me, I've been a realtor now for quite some time. Like I've been doing Chris and I left our corporate jobs and we were mortgage bankers.
Talk about being uncomfortable though. You both left your corporate jobs.
Yeah, we had no and we knew it's something that we wanted to do because we knew we wanted to get married and have kids, and then we can have the best of both worlds and stay home and have our own schedule. So we left our jobs in 2007. And that's when we saw the wave of short sales hitting, and so we started short sales.
You are a visionary, I swear. Because you're thinking like you're literally a year and a half ahead of everybody else.
I try, and I think I get that from Chris, my husband, because he still has his real estate license. However, he went and started the sports business in 2014, and now that's booming. So he's always ahead of the curve. Is that what is a curve? Yeah. So, but anyways, so I got my license. I didn't get my license right away. I think I got it. I was pregnant with our oldest, so 10, 11 years ago. And I was always at smaller brokerages. I did go to one. I won't say what it is, but I went to one bigger one, and I I did not like it for the reason that there was like all these fees that were involved. And with my business, I don't want to ask someone who's facing foreclosure for any fees. I call them hook fees. I don't like hook fees. And so I was paying those out of pocket. And it was several $1,000s a year just to basically do these short sales. And I'm like, no, they didn't understand my business model. So then I went to another brokerage, and I was there for many, 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 many years. And then my good friend, Jody Cholene, she's watching. Hi, Jody.
I talked about her today.
Yeah, you did. We talked to her every day, but she we were a team together, and then she went her own separate way, and she decided to come to Keller Williams. And so she told me, and I was so excited for her. And she's like, you got to come. It's great. Your last name's Keller. And I'm like, no. I kept telling her no. And
you did. That is a true story.
And we had a meeting set up at one point, and I think we canceled it. And I was like, no. And then I got wave that there was a new location coming to Elgin. And I was like, okay, I think that is like the stars aligning, and I need to check this out. So finally we met for breakfast. It was January of 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
Egg Harbor Cafe downtown Geneva.
Yes, so good. And that is when I made the decision to come to Keller Williams. And that was another step outside of your comfort zone, because I was so...
Well, you have your system, you have your business. You had a lot of listings.
I did, and I had to take all those and move them over, and it was a lot to do. But I am so thankful that I moved to Keller Williams. It was the best decision that I could have ever done. And so if there's agents, I just want agents to know, if you're out there and you're doing the volume, I did like 16 million, I think, last year. If you're doing that or even more, you can change. It's good for your business.
It actually is re-energizing. It's another reason to contact your sphere that you may have not been in touch with, right? And it teaches you a whole new concept. Like, it became cost effective for you. People thought, oh, you're at a discount brokerage or transaction based. Well, with the volume you're doing, being with a fixed cost company was actually a better financial.
Yeah, I mean, Keller, when I knew that Keller Williams Inspire was coming to Elgin, I'm like, that's a win-win. We live in Elgin. We're business owners in Elgin. We're a part of the commerce. We're do a lot for the school, our kids' school. So I was like, and then I started the show after we came to KW Inspire. So it was really a good business decision for me.
Well, I find it interesting because you are an introvert.
Yeah.
And you love, and the radio show, it's amazing to see. It's like Beyonce, how she has Sasha Fierce on stage. She's quite shy. Like, it's so cool to see this because you are in your natural comfort zone, and it is genuinely helping people, because people are so afraid to have a conversation when they might be in upside down or in trouble or financially behind in their mortgage, and they don't know where help is. And so it really is a service, and that people don't realize that they might be missing an opportunity rather than see it go all the way through to foreclosure.
I mean, I say this all the time when we talk about short sales and foreclosures. It is daunting, and there's a lot of people out there that really don't know how to handle the situation. And I've had many of my attorneys, bankruptcy, foreclosure, defense on the show, and I think we provided a lot of great content. So if you're interested in listening to past shows, just go to the website realtalkelgin.com. But yeah, I'm thankful that I'm doing this. It was definitely out of my comfort zone. I'm good at what I do, but I'm also kind of quiet. Like, I just work and stay with the kids.
I think automatically you have volume when you have passion. When you put that kind of passionate, behind it.
I get excited. Like, sometimes I talk too fast. Like, I'm so excited about this show tonight. I'm just like, and but that's it. We're live. It's a radio show. People make mistakes. It is what it is.
Well, we talk about passion, like that's where your energy is going to go. We just had this conversation and too about Chris and his business, and so that's when it becomes fun and it doesn't feel like work anymore. And what I've seen in my many years of building local brokerages is that COVID has changed people's idea of what work-life balance is or what work is, like just like you did in 2007. And the caliber of people getting into the business. Here's a misnomer that it's no longer about how long you've been in real estate. It's how you run your business. And there are agents that have been in the business. My mom was an agent for 43 years. My grandmother was a brokerage owner. So it's in my family. My sister's a managing broker in our Glen Ellen office. And it's in our family, but it's really when you make it a business. And so the level of people that are coming into the business that were medical sales or software sales or, other, well-paying jobs, but just wasn't the quality of life they were looking for anymore. It's really upping the game in a good way.
Yeah, I cannot believe how many people lately have reached out. No, like they don't have, they're brand new agents.
Yep.
So they're like, hey, what do I need to do? And, I guide them and just say, hey, this is what you need to do. And then I let them know about the new Keller Williams Inspire location. But you're right. It doesn't matter how many years. If you're joining a team or just getting the right guidance, then you'll succeed, but you have to run your business a certain way. It is your business. So you have to do it. There has to be systems in place. It took me so long to get to that point. I'm sure you too, but
I'm still a mess. Yeah. Like I have a podcast, The Messy Empire, for a reason.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, the whole thing's a mess. But because building a business is really uncomfortable, and I'm outside my comfort zone every day. So I think you have to, otherwise life gets unfun. But I also find the agents that really go in and win it are agents typically between 42 and 55 women who have raised their children, or children are old enough to feed themselves at this point. And they're like, you know what, it's my turn now. Like those agents are the ones that really start to understand their value, their worth, and they're going to do what they love, and they want to make their own money and contribute, or if they haven't worked or choose a better opportunity to be around their kids more. And so it's really amazing because you can make it anything you want. You've created a niche market that is such a specialty that very few people can do.
Yeah. I know sometimes I wonder, like with these short sales, like what am I doing? But then, for example, I told you about this. Today, I closed on a deal that I have been working on since July of 2019.
Wow.
And it is a short sale. They had 2 mortgages. The second didn't want to settle for what the first was going to give. And then halfway through, one of the sellers passed away. And then there was a mechanic's lien on the title. I mean, it was a hot mess. And so to get that deal done and for the seller to just be so thankful and appreciative, that reminds me of why I do what I do. And it's not easy. There's some days where I'm pulling my hair out, but I'm good at it. And these people out there who are facing financially challenging times need someone like myself and my team surrounding them. Otherwise, it's not,
Well, 9 times out of 10, it's a lack of knowledge. You talk even about being bashful or embarrassed, or they feel bad that they've gotten themselves into that situation. The worst thing then is feeling dumb. Because, all right, I'm already in this situation. Now I don't know how to get myself out of it. Yeah. That's what I've noticed just since even producing your shows, is seeing all of the professionals come in and all be so willing to help at even the ground level. Nobody's talking above or using verbiage above what you're able to understand,
Yeah, it's a complicated process. So you just kind of have to, I'm very good at explaining in easy terms about the process, but it's also confusing. So I always try to explain what I can at the beginning and then hold their hand through the process.
It can feel really hopeless, right? So you get behind in a mortgage 1 month, and then interest, and then 2 months, and then 3 months. And by then you're literally drowning and you don't know where to turn. And then a lot of people just let it go into foreclosure, which is on now your credit record for 10 years. Is that right?
I hear different things. I would say it's at least 7.
So that's on. And they don't know that there could be someone, like literally an angel, to like come. I used to do this in Denver. I did short sales. And I would get the notice of who was filing for foreclosure, and I would go knock on their door. And
I would knock on their door?
I would say, I want to help you.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even know they had equity in their property. Like all hope was lost. And when we can be the solution, and especially in a market like today where the demand for listings is so, if anybody has a home to sell it.
I've been teetering in that category right
now.
Yeah.
Mike
It's
insane. So what you're
going to make more money now than you ever will. I believe. I can't guarantee that, of course.
I'm telling people, if you're just sell, even if you're undecided, just sell, because you're going to get more money right now than you probably ever will. And I truly believe, because I'm watching the market and I see what's going on with the moratoriums, and we've talked about this on previous shows, I do think that the market's going to tank. I just don't know when. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was in like 07, 08, but we just don't know when it's going to happen. So People are calling to sell like crazy.
It is. It's an interesting market because we just went through a pandemic, and yet real estate's at its all-time high, and interest rates are still amazing. And so it is a predicament. Like, what do I do and where do I go? Which is
because it's hard to find someone a house. Like that's what they said. A bidding war.
Affordable housing. If you have a affordable housing, they said you get rid of it right away. It would move. I mean, somebody would buy it. So there's not enough choices for people to look at.
Yeah. So like I have a client right now who has equity. We're going to sell. I have no worries about selling, but they need to find a place to go. And that's the tricky part. That's why I think that's where experience probably comes in with those types of deals, because it is going to be complicated to kind of pull all of that together.
That's another stress level. You help them find the new places too?
Yeah. So it would be a contingent offer. They have to sell that place in order to buy, but it's a townhouse in Schaumburg. That's going to go very quickly, but they want to buy a house. So then we have to find a house, but they may make an offer and be in a multiple bidding situation and then not get that house.
This is the first time in history that I've recognized that we have actually more realtors, 1.4 million realtors across the country, than we do listings. 1 million.
Wow.
Do you know do you know the stats by chance of like how many new agents have come in since the pandemic? I feel like there's always new agents on, like, the Facebook group for us, or they're always announcing a new agent. And I think it's great, if they...
Well, it levels up on the way the game is played with better conversations, better decisions. And so, I want people to look at list price to sales price percentages. Short distressed properties has its own category, right, in that sector. But are you really working for the seller and fiduciary? Because sellers also think that if it's a discount, they're going to save money. And I'm like, oh gosh. Oftentimes a discount, if they're discounting their commission, I question what they're negotiating, right? Power is for the agent, for the seller. And number two is what do they take the listing for and what do they close it for? Because that gap could be so big that you're actually on a downside when you think you're getting a better deal. Like, yeah. It's fascinating to watch the numbers and the metrics of who's performing and what's performing, but really any house, any home, even up to I would say 700. I mean, it is unbelievable right now. So I'm going to look at the average days on market and get some stats too.
It's yeah.
I'm boggled. I just know, just because we're trying to refinance and we're using one of your partners through refinancing right now, and they said that would be, you had to get it valued, right?
Yeah.
Appraisal. Thank you.
Did you complete your refinance?
Almost.
Yeah. So the refinance
one thing had to be
getting an appraisal is hard right now though, because everybody's so busy too.
Or they're doing appraisal waivers.
Well, that's a waiver because we had a VA. Because it's
you had a VA. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and so it ended up having a waiver on it. So they didn't need to, anyway, all the rules. But again, pandemic is also making it a little bit easier for people just because of that fact as well.
We just for me, I do real estate all over Chicagoland.
You do.
So, like I just listed one all the way out in Cicero, and it's a 2-unit. It was a referral. And we had, I think, like 40 showings in like 2 days. I mean, it was insane. And we got, I can't remember how many offers, but we did get over list price. That's what's happening. You're getting, if it's priced right, sellers will call and say, oh, let me list it at this, which is it's not going to sell even in this crazy market. You have to still list it accordingly. And then you're going to get an insane amount of showings. So I'm trying to list, say on a Thursday or a Friday, so that way through the weekend you get all these showings and the sellers don't have to be out of the house as much, just for the weekend, and then accept an offer after
I agree. What people don't think about when they put their home on the market is now they're gone from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which I've had to do before.
It's the inconvenience, yeah.
You don't realize not going home for 12 hours is tough.
Yeah.
Oh, that first segment went by so fast. I think I could sit here and talk all night.
Okay,
we are going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with the final segment of the show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Real Talk Elgin with real estate expert Heather Keller. Call 847-931-1410 and Heather will be happy to answer your questions about real estate. And now back to Studio 14 in downtown Elgin for more Real Talk Elgin with Heather Keller.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're interested in calling in and asking Caryn and I a question, maybe about getting your license or Keller Williams in general, you can call in 847-931-1410. So if you would like a free copy of my book, The Complete Guide to Selling Your Home as a Short Sale, you can go to realtalkelgin.com, and at the top right, there's a button called Short Sale Booklet. Click on the button, and it will take you to my website. We can get you a free copy. You can fill out the form. We also have an online version now, so you can read it right there. We would be happy to drop one off or mail it to you. Or you can call or text 224-407-2220 or email info@tkghomes.net. So I haven't had a featured property in a while because houses are flying off the market like hotcakes. But this one is coming soon. So it will be available next week, later next week. It is a home, a split level home in Schaumburg. Great school district, corner lot. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, hardwood floors. The kitchen is updated. It's Eden, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances. There is a 2-car attached garage. The family room has a fireplace. So the school district is 54 and 211. So I know that one's pretty popular. It is close to everything. It's a great location, and we are going to be listing that at $314,900. So if you're in the market for a home in Schaumburg in that school district, you can reach out to us. 224-407-2220. And again, you can email info@tkghomes.net. Again, that house is in Schaumburg, and it's going to be available at the end of next week. Upcoming shows, if you have any suggestions on a real estate show for us, please call in, or you can email info@tkghomes.net. We would love any suggestions. We are about ready to start planning for the second half of 2021. We have a lot of great ideas. So we will be back in 4 weeks, unfortunately not 2, but 4 weeks with Kate Eardeval. She is an attorney with Donnet and Batavia. So a lot of agents.
We serve that area.
Yeah, a lot of agents at the office know her. She was on season 1. Do you remember, Kate? And she is an attorney. We're going to talk about the foreclosure process in the state of Illinois and what you need to know, especially what's going on right now. So again, like our page, Real Talk Elgin, and listen to all of our past shows or ask Google or Alexa to play it for you. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's also something they can share with a family member who might be in distress that they don't know where to go for help. It's a really good resource.
Yeah, no, Kate was on last season, and it was a great show, and I think it's important for people to understand the foreclosure process. She actually worked with, she was on the other side. So, like, I deal with the banks, she was working for the banks. So she has a lot of expertise in that area. So, and we're working on some complicated cases right now. So I wanted to bring her back to kind of go over everything so people understand.
People pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for that.
Yeah.
That's good info.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do a little market stat if you want about
Yeah.
Elgin and South Elgin. So
Okay,
I put the
cool.
2 together, but I know the community is
So if you're
local.
in South Elgin or any of the surrounding areas and you're looking to sell, yes.
I'm going to validate why now is the time for you to sell your home in the shortest amount of time for the most amount of money.
Okay.
So we're going to have an economics lesson about sales absorption or absorption rate.
Okay.
So absorption rate would mean if I said to you, like March 2020, I'm looking at the stats right now. March 2020 closed properties. Ooh, it's going to yell at me.
So March 2020, okay.
Okay. We had 4.2 months of inventory. What that means, when people say months of inventory, you hear it on the news, you hear it on CNBC, we hear it everywhere. Months of inventory means if not another home went on the market today, how long it would take all the homes that are on the market to sell to eat up that inventory.
Okay.
So think about like a claw sponge, like a house here, a house here, a house here. I'm a very visual person. So 4.2 months of inventory. So that's a lot of homes on the market, depending on how many are selling every month. This March, so we had 4.2 months of inventory. We are at 1.5 months of inventory. So 3 times less inventory, or third inventory, thank you for the math, than we've had before. The under contract is even lower than that.
Wow.
And that's after, you don't put it under contract until inspection and things like that typically, right?
Well, right now, this is what's happening. You list the house, you get an insane amount of showings, then you get an insane amount of offers. Then I will go back and ask for highest and best by Monday at 10 or whatever. Then I review all of those offers with the seller. They will verbally accept one, but we're still showing during that time. Mm-hmm. Then once they officially sign it and we collect the earnest money, then it will be marked contingent, but attorney review.
Right. So then it's not pending, which is what shows up here. So contingent, that would happen probably in 10 to 12 days now of every good viable listing that's priced right the first time. Mm-hmm. What you don't want to do in this market is overprice it. And you don't want to overprice it because everybody's going to know that why isn't it gone yet? They're suspicious because they're watching the news every day or listening to the show. Mm-hmm. They're like, why isn't it gone yet? What's wrong with the house? So pricing it right the first time is vital.
If it's sitting too long, then for sure. Like I have one right now and it is overpriced. But unfortunately,
is it hard for you to talk them out of that? I mean,
it is. So at some, I just
continue
to do what I'm doing and send the feedback, and it's priced. I'm not going to even say where it's at because it's crazy. It should have sold by now, but it's just priced too high. That is the only active listing I have right now out of 20 listings. So it needs to be priced accordingly. Yes, it's a hot market, but you don't want to overprice it.
Right. I understand that logic.
Yeah. Now, the short sales would be a little bit different. Depending on the situation, we may price it. I've talked about a couple different strategies before. We may price it a little bit higher, depending on where they're at in the process. But that's different than a traditional sale.
It is. So last year in Elgin, South Elgin, this month in March, not April, they had 965 homes on the market.
Last year at this time, 965.
Yep, there are 500 today.
Wow.
But they're probably, all 500 of those are probably already under contract.
Well, that's what I'm looking now is the under contract.
Called for. I was just going to say that.
Actually, under for sale was 1,007 in March 2020. Under contract was 194. Sold was 172. Now we have 500, 224, and 200. So it's double the under contract and closed and half the for sale.
Yeah, inventory is low. That's why I say the people that are wanting to upgrade or even downsize, it is hard to find another house. It's very tricky. That's a very tricky situation.
So how does that not go against you selling your house? Do you know what I mean? Like I'd sell it, but I don't know if we're going to find, how does that?
I love that you asked that question because we have a program that we're announcing where we are partnering with an apartment company and a moving company to provide temporary housing for people that might not have a house ready for them yet. And new construction is also booming right now, but those costs are a little bit high sometimes because of COVID and supply. So lumber supplies are very, very high. But we do have some alternative.
What a great asset to a company you'd want to work with, knowing that they got your back that way.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's part of our group is what's really important to us to give service that way.
I think people want to do that or at least do temporary housing to pull as much equity out as possible because a year from now, if you're waiting a year, then who knows, your equity could go away.
Well, or interest rates could go up. So if you have a home right now that's worth $500,000 and you're at a 5% mortgage, your affordability is $300, like 1 point is $300 or something, 1,000. At 5% at $500,000, your mortgage payment's probably $3,000 a month. Well, if you got into a home at $750 at 2.5%, then your affordability is actually much greater because your interest rate is better. And so what people don't understand is they don't have to have 20% down anymore. I did a 5% conventional. I just refinanced for a 15-year at 2.25, right? So my payment's about the same, and I cut my mortgage time in half. And so there are so many opportunities and programs out there that people are not aware of. Like you have a VA loan, so thank you for serving whoever served in your family.
My husband, yep.
It's awesome, and it's great. And that's what realtors know is we know how to get people into a home, but it is not our job to make you house poor. That we're very clear on.
Like someone will come to me and say, "Oh, I'm approved for this," and I'm like, "Can we try to get, and I explained to them, like, this is my specialty. Let's try to find something under this price.
Right.
Ultimately in the end, it's their decision. But I think another good thing is when you're going to sell and then buy again, it's good to have an experienced agent with that particular situation, because what I'm doing with the other ones is you can try to find off-market properties. Ones that they may not see, like they could just look on Zillow, which Zillow is a whole nother story. But I don't like Zillow, and I don't love when buyers look on Zillow. But the stuff on the MLS is most accurate. But we can find off-market properties between all of our offices at Keller Williams. All you have to do is post something in the Facebook page and boom, someone has something.
I can see that for people who are almost like my era. I mean, I'm 56. So people who are getting ready and, want to get that final home, they're downsizing everything. Their kids are all older. You don't need the space that you had before. Doing that where you get a cheaper rate, it's allowing you to invest a little bit more into your retirement. There's so many little pieces of that puzzle that go so much further right now.
You could also refinance, cash out, and use that as a down payment on your next home.
True. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many opportunities that because things are so much more in alignment with the technology, and we're not going to go back into the same crisis as we did prior, because the laws that have been put in place to protect consumers now, the 3-day wait period is vital. I mean, I've seen lenders do some crazy things like stated no doc with people who had no right to buy a house.
Yeah. That's why I say it's not going to be as bad as what it was. I mean, I was giving those loans back in 2007. I mean, you would just see the credit score and they would say, okay, this is my occupation, and we'd look it up online and say, okay, well, this is what the average person makes. I mean, it was crazy.
Wow.
And they would give you a loan.
Yeah, it's different. It's very different now on how the guidelines work and TRID and all that. So
they learned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a few states who've done a really good job. I've been licensed in 4 states, so I've seen a lot of different economies and how states work. Texas does something that I actually think is brilliant because they didn't have a boom or bust. Austin's booming right now because a lot of technology companies are moving there. Mm-hmm. And you are not allowed to refinance for more than 80% of your home's value. So you always have to carry 20% equity. And I think you can only do it once or twice. Like they put a law in 1997 or 98 that prevented. So they've had a very good price, 4 to 5%, which is a very steady appreciation over the years.
That's interesting. I don't think Illinois would do
No, obviously we never. No, we're a little loosey-goosey. I've seen, but my mom also sold houses in DuPage County at 18% interest. Wow. And Mark Willis, the former CEO, I interviewed him today for something else, and he talked about a 3-2-1 loan. Right, you're going to pay 6% on the first 10. On the first 100,000.
I don't remember those.
So oh my God, what a nightmare! I could not even.
Well,
it's like somebody rolled the dice and said, "Okay, I scored a 4. This is the one we're going to give you." Do you know what I mean? It's
adjustable rate mortgages are doing that now, and balloon payments are coming due. That's where people got in trouble in 2007, 8 too. Is they would do a second that's adjustable, and then all of a sudden the balloons due, and they can't refinance because they don't have enough equity in it.
Yeah. How is that going to come up now with what has been going on with COVID?
What do you mean?
With the people who have been pushing off their.
It's so like I ask one of my attorneys and I ask another, and it's all over the place. All I know.
Forbearance.
Yeah, the forbearance. We had it was Adil Muhammad was on foreclosure defense attorney a few weeks ago, and
that was
he
very
printed it off. He said Fannie Mae, and this was in March, I think, or no, it was the end of February. He said Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are not extending their, the moratorium. Theirs expired March 31st. Now, I haven't looked to see if that's true or not.
I'm reading about it now. Here's what's interesting, because it happened to me, and I own real estate companies and other companies. I like start a company every day. I had a loan, a mortgage.
Slacker.
I know. It's
Be like Caryn Prall.
No,
go outside your comfort zone.
Oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm sweating right now. Is that I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I had a loan in forbearance. I didn't even know I did. This is the tricky predatory lending.
Wow.
When I was refinancing my house, I have a farm in Oklahoma. And when I was refinancing, they pulled and they're like, "You're in forbearance." I said, "What are you talking about?"
Were you making the mortgage payment?
Yes.
They weren't taking it out of your account.
No, they were.
What happened?
I went on my thing last year when COVID hit and we're all panicking, like, "Oh, what's my balance? What's my interest rate?" I look and it's like, they asked a question that was so ambiguous, and I clicked yes. And it put me in forbearance, and I had no idea.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
And you're in the business, so that shows that it's going to be scary for normal
So I think
people
about
like
seniors. I think check your family stuff, because look on the tax call Heather to get information on the property.
Yeah.
Because
Great
if I
point.
did it and I own 3 properties, I cannot believe that there aren't millions of Americans that are in forbearance that they didn't even know they were either.
me. Oh, how horrendous for
So
that
getting
to come
it
to the forefront.
undone-
That's how you learn about it, you know?
Getting
Oh
it
my
undone
goodness.
was really difficult.
So how, you find that out by talking to your bank?
You can, I don't, I
Yeah, I
Contacting
mean, you'd
Heather
get
and
letters. You'd get letters. Hey, you were accepted into the forbearance.
Where's your letters, Caryn?
didn't they asked me, my lender who I refinance with asked me for, and I'm like, well, first of all, the property's in Oklahoma. Second of all, my husband is not amazing about mail.
Right.
Like one time, he had an entire old freezer full of mail. He would just throw it in there.
Joel.
I know, Joel. And he thought that just made it go away. But it wasn't in the freezer. It was named, I was named on it. But it just, you know, you just miss it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had that happen in our household. So, but that's hard. That's the first I've heard of that. But yeah, you probably want to check. I'm sure with it being a year now that people would know.
I think Adil even brought that up. He said there's a couple things that are on those forms that you just would overlook on a normal day. If that's not your area of expertise,
Yeah.
you sign it and you go, and then all of a sudden they come back and say, wait a minute, no, you're just exactly what you're using, that example.
Yeah, I think Adil's coming back actually towards the end of the second quarter. So we'll have probably a better update as what's going on with the moratorium.
Well, I found the forbearance. So it typically lasts 3 to 6 months. Apparently, I should know that too. It can be extended up to 12 or 18 months. If it's backed by Fannie or Freddie, right, you can request up to 2 additional 3-month extensions for a max of 18 months. But to be eligible, you have been active forbearance by February 28th, 2021. So that's Freddie and Fannie. If it's HUD, FHA, USDA, or VA, government-backed loans, you can request 2 additional 3-month for a maximum of 18 months. But to qualify, you must have requested on or before June 30th of last year. So that boat,
yeah,
that ship
and
has
that
sailed.
one, I know that one for sure, unless they extend it again, is ending at the end of June. So
Yep. You had to have submitted it last June in order to
Yeah.
qualify.
So folks, if you have questions, give Heather a call. What's that phone number once again, Heather?
well, you can call here and ask a question, 847-931-1410, or you can give us a call, 224-407-2220, or you can email info@tkghomes.net. So I think we can finish up the show with information on the new location.
What?
Well, since
Please?
the house was built for Heather Keller,
The house that was.
she's like, well, where are you located? I'm like, where do you want to be?
Now, that location was already picked before
Was
I.
it?
Yeah.
That has been the longest negotiation in the entire universe.
Well,
of a
remember
lease.
when I came on board, I said, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to wait until the Elgin office is officially open.
At least now you know that Heather wasn't BSing you. I mean, it literally has just been a long negotiation.
Yeah,
I
it
take
has been. I
It
think
took-
COVID probably delayed it a little bit. So what is going on?
We are almost ready. It's
I keep
almost
checking
open.
the sign outside.
You're not going to see it yet.
I know.
It is going to be official in April
Okay.
in a top secret location, but everybody
I already
knows
told the
building.
location.
You did?
Yeah, you told me I could.
Oh, okay, I
I asked
did.
you.
I don't know. I get in a lot of trouble with Keller Williams International as a franchise company, which is great because I love troublemakers as long as they kind of stay within the boundary.
That's
a
why
little
I
bit.
ask. I always ask first, can I give the location? So we do know the location. Actually, Eric Klein, who's been on the show a couple times, the team leader, he asked me to come out. Gosh, it was a couple weeks ago, but I was just getting ready to leave for Florida, and it was busy. I had appointments, so I was not able to make it out there. But I believe the internet, I do know the internet was put in.
Everything's in.
Everything's in.
My chandeliers are in.
Okay.
So it is, yeah, I'm excited. It's an Elgin State Bank on the second floor, and they've been amazing to work with. And we're 2 weeks behind on construction. That's it. They've been very seamless. I've been working with their team. So it's a good partnership, and we have room to grow. So I always do a right of first refusal. If people don't know what that is in real estate, is if someone decides to sell, that I get first bid. So if there's a property I want, or so I'll write a right of first refusal if they'll sign it, because there's nothing tied to it typically, but we're ready to expand too. So and then move forward north or forward east or forward west. Like this area is booming. It's the downtown Elgin's adorable.
So you said April.
Yes.
So what's the plan? So we're going to open in April.
We want to do a live broadcast.
We're gonna,
from
you
there.
know,
We
we
are.
decided, Leah, we're gonna do it on a Tuesday.
Yay!
And just do the show.
For Heather's
Sure.
show, and we're just going to do the show there.
That'd be
a
great.
Tuesday evening. So we'll have to check with the team leader and the leadership team in Elgin or in Geneva. God, I'm already saying Elgin. But we're guessing we're going to do a grand opening in May, early June. We're going to see where COVID takes us.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's that little cloud that sits there and switches things up quite often. You know, you can't plan ahead for it. But it's exciting, and it's exciting news, and it's great that it's here locally. And obviously, it brought you to the radio station here and gave all this great information out to the listeners. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we are built by agents for agents. Pete and I are both agents, and we're locally owned and operated, and that's really important to us to be the economist in the community. So we're excited to be
I think
there.
that's very important for people who are coming in new too, also to see that everybody is on the same level. Do you know what I mean? It's a level playing field. You might have a lot of history and stuff behind you, but you're eager for your team to succeed.
I'm only as good as my last closing, right?
Right. Well, no, seriously. Well, I'm in sales, you know, so that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm excited because
for
every
us.
single show, you forgot to play the little
Do we have
cool
Keller Williams
noise
music?
thing. Yeah, that, yay.
I could do it. I was a cheerleader.
I've been waiting for this show because every single time I come on, I'm like, KW Inspire, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And so it is going to be opening in April.
Yep. We have a state-of-the-art technology room, so we're able to have a live stream with cameras and cameras facing back so they can see the classroom, screens in the back, like presentations, home buyer seminars, home seller seminars. So our agents will be able to use it really as a resource, a local resource.
And education. That's another great thing
training
about
every
Keller Williams is that if you're a new agent, there's so much education out there that they provide, you know, filling out a contract, little stuff that's really going to help your business.
What we also have that people don't realize is a big value add is we have someone reading all the contracts every day. So we have a compliance department, and
So when we submit them in command.
But yours are perfect because you dot all your I's and cross your T's.
Thank you to my mom, who's my transaction coordinator.
Yeah, it's a licensed managing broker of a license level, and they read every contract every day, and I get a list every day. And we are so compliant. And agents that have come from other companies said, I'm actually a better agent because I know someone is looking at my contract.
Got my back.
Oh, I actually did not know that.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah,
This is what you don't know.
I'm very organized and want things done a certain way. So we're pretty good about always, that's funny, always doing
day.
things the right way. So I don't think I've ever had someone email me yet and say, hey, this was wrong. So yeah. But yeah, so the KW Inspire new location is coming in April. Hopefully in 4 weeks, maybe we'll be open by then, and I can give you more updates.
We'll be open by then. I'm putting the pressure on. I like to put it out there.
April 20th, I think. No.
4/20.
No, May 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
4 weeks is May 4th.
May the 4th.
Yeah, because we will not be
with
here
you.
or April 20th. So, and we may have a grand opening date, but the plan is to have Real Talk Elgin live at the location on a Tuesday. So hopefully May and June.
Had to do
Yes,
that one there.
yes.
Yeah. That was me clapping.
Finally.
It's a talent.
What other? Any final thoughts, Caryn?
No, I'm really glad that I met you because I haven't seen you for a long time in person, but it's like
I know we had lunch
we were meant to be together.
last summer, but
Was that last summer?
it was, yeah. We sat outside. Remember, Jody was with us.
I remember where I ate. I remember what I ate. Like I remember everything about it, but I cannot believe it was last summer.
Last summer. Yeah, because it was outside. But I really, really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and any news you get about KW Inspire in Elgin, please let me know so I can update everyone.
What if I told you it was a big joke?
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding.
think
It's
I would
coming.
cry.
We're going to shut down the live right now as not to incriminate anybody
I'm
from what might be
just
happening
kidding.
off screen.
We are so excited to get this open, and we know we have it's 1001 Randall Road. So if anybody wants to know
Yeah.
where it is.
We'll be back in 4 weeks with Kate Ederalde, Donna and Donna, attorney, talking about foreclosure defense in Illinois. Thank you and have a great night.